okay, parents, your kids are going to turn out just fine.
Welcome to the Your Kids Will Be Fine podcast. Once again, the podcast by me, Dr. Michael Mlobsky, board-certified pediatrician, parent of 7 wonderful kids of my own, and now 3 grandchildren, here to help us sort through all of the overwhelming amount of information that comes at us as parents and help us understand what's really important and hopefully decrease our anxiety about our parenting journey and help us recognize, your kids will be fine. This episode of the Your Kids Will Be Fine podcast is brought to you by TruHeight. TruHeight is what your child needs to help them reach their full growth and height potential. It is not a magic pill that will make your child grow beyond their genetic potential, but what it does do is that TruHeight addresses the areas that can limit growth potential, especially the areas of nutrition, sleep, and stress. I use and recommend TruHeight products in my own practice because the ingredients are clean. They are well researched. They're backed by clinical trials. The kids in my practice love it. It tastes great. Even the picky eaters like it. For more information, you can go to the podcast website, yourkidswillbefine.com, or go to TruHeight Vitamins, that's TruHeight, TruHeightVitamins.com. So today I want to talk about parenting experts, and that all of us in our parenting journey, ultimately, we're all just winging it. We're all showing up and trying to do our best, and none of us are getting it right all the time. What prompted my topic is that I recently reread one of the seminal books that I was recommended as a new parent. Our oldest child is now 27. He was born in 1996. And all of our peers, and even my pediatrician at the time, Dr. Feldman, I don't know if he's still alive, but if you're out there, Dr. Feldman, you are awesome. We miss you. Recommended Happiest Baby on the Block, Dr. Harvey Karp. Currently, I think considered one of the most read pediatricians in the country, one of the acknowledged baby experts that everyone turns to. Interestingly enough, Dr. Harvey Karp has no children of his own and has never raised a newborn. So you have to take that in consideration whenever you read anyone's book. And I reread Happiest Baby on the Block, and the core of Happiest Baby on the Block are the 5 S's: swaddling, side or stomach position, shushing, swinging, sucking. And what I remember is that it did nothing for us. We felt like complete failures. We felt that something must be wrong with us. Our child is not the happiest baby on the block, and none of this stuff worked. In fact, if any of you who are going through your parenting journey would like a great podcast about this, Hillary Frank, the Longest Shortest Time podcast, she's amazing. And she coined the 6th S, which I think that we also thought of at the time that isn't in Harvey Karp's list, which is shit show. And that's what it felt like. It felt like none of this is working for us. We're the problem, or something is wrong with our baby. And we went in to see our pediatrician multiple times. He said, no, nothing's wrong. Your kid's fine. Your kid's doing great. And then I think we read Baby Wise, if any of you have tried Baby Wise along your parenting journey. And Baby Wise also did nothing for us. Our baby was not baby wise. And once again, we felt defeated, demoralized, that none of this was working. Something clearly we weren't getting, or maybe our baby was just damaged. And ultimately, we started to just trust ourselves. We started to find the things that did work for us, even if it didn't look the way it should in any of the books. And the next child was even harder. And by the way, all these kids are adults. They're all fine, by the way. There's nothing wrong with any of them. And we had to really work hard to find the things that did work. And so it went along our parenting journey. Our 7th child was born when we were 40. We're now 54. And in the end, getting through our parenting process, doing our best, trying to show up for our kids every day, and ultimately just winging it to find what works is how we got through it. We asked advice from our parents. We asked advice from other people who were going through the same thing. And I think I remember one of our kids, or one or two of our kids, we found some benefit in some of those books that did work for them, thank God. But ultimately, parenting experts really didn't offer us very much. And I think that the message of the podcast today is that we, even compared to when we started our parenting journey that long ago, there is literally mountains of information that come at us. Social media inhabits all of our lives, and we can't help as parents but compare what we're doing to what everyone else seems to be doing. And so many families come to my office with newborns, with toddlers, feeling absolutely defeated and demoralized that why can't I get this right? Why can't I make this look the way it seems to look in all the books that I read by all of these people who tell me that they are the experts in what they're doing, or what I see in social media. And this is one of those situations where multiple things, often in life, can be true at once. The most prominent example as a parent of this is that it can be true that we love our children more than ourselves, that we would die for our children. We would do anything for them, and they are the greatest gift in our lives that we've ever had. And at the same time, we can feel that they are ruining our happiness, and that this is the hardest thing we've ever done, and that maybe I'm not cut out for this, and often dislike them at times. Multiple things can be true at once. And what I'm saying is that's okay. It's okay to acknowledge. It's okay. It's a normal part of the parenting journey. It's okay to acknowledge that your toddler is an asshole sometimes. That's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay, not in front of them, maybe not to them, but it's okay to have that be part of your thought process going through raising kids. And that I think that more parents need to accept and embrace the idea that none of us are getting it right. None of us are perfect. And all of us are making mistakes every day, and mistakes are part of parenting. And what we think of mistakes, even if it's working for us, maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe it's just what works in our house with our type of kid, in our situation. I think that it's very different when you're young and you have your first baby and all of your attention, all of your focus goes into everything that you do with that baby every day. And then you have a toddler, and then maybe you have a second child, you have a newborn. And everything that you thought you were doing and everything that worked the first time goes out the window because you don't have the same amount of time. Things are much crazier. Your attention is split. You and your partner are literally treading water, trying to just not drown every day. And with a very big family like ours, we've been blessed with a very large family. Sometimes you are literally just trying to get from sunup to sundown and keep everybody alive. And that's the way some days feel. One of my favorite comedians, Jim Gaffigan, once said, what's it like, when someone asks him what's it like to have your fourth kid or your fifth kid, in my case, what's it like to have your seventh kid? And he answered, imagine that you're drowning and someone hands you a baby. Well, that's what all of us feel like most days, even with our first kid, because we have no reference and nothing to compare it to. No, there's nothing wrong if your child doesn't fit the mold of what the expectations can be, how the expectations are set through reading a lot of parenting books. I'm specifically referencing Happiest Baby on the Block and Baby Wise because I feel like so many parents use it. And the reason why it's successful is because obviously for a lot of families it works. Obviously for so many people, they found benefit and they found that this helped them. That's great. And it's amazing if this helps you. And it's amazing if it's transformative and it makes your life easier and it makes your parenting journey feel better and more positive because when you do this stuff, it works. That's fantastic. Nothing wrong with that. But on the other side, there's zero wrong and zero problem with the situation where none of it works for you. And you have to just make it up as you go along sometimes. And that's what a lot of parenting sometimes is, especially with really young kids. We're just making it up as we go along and trying to find what fits best to our life and our situation. It's the same with sleep training. It's the same with oftentimes discipline. It's the same with food and mealtime. It's the same with screen time. All of these are big topics. And it isn't going to always look exactly the same with every kid or with what you do that works for you, it's not going to look the same as the people that you see on social media. It's not going to look the same as the portrait that the books paint for you, and it's not going to look the same as maybe your friends and your other peers that are also raising children at the same time. So parents, I think the greatest gift you can give to yourselves during this really difficult journey, and it is difficult, raising small children it's time consuming. It really does. It's a blow to your happiness from not having kids to having kids. You often feel inadequate and you feel incompetent and you feel like, why can't you get any of this right? Which makes us unhappy. But it's okay to feel all of those things and know that if you keep at it and you keep getting better and you keep improving and time goes by, that things change and evolve. And the way it is now isn't necessarily the way it's going to look in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. And then we change again. And then your kids become teenagers and then it changes again. So that is the message that I really hope that people can take from this episode of Your Kids Will Be Fine, is that your kids will be fine. And it's okay for you as parents to focus on you being fine too, because when you focus on your well-being as a parent to the best of your ability, and your kids are going to benefit from that also. And that has been the greatest sort of thought evolution in our parenting journey as we've had a bigger family. That you just have to, each kid is like his or her own Rubik's Cube to solve. You don't get the same product every time. None of your kids get the same family or the same parents. And that's just because it can't possibly be the same. Your first child, the family and the world that child is born into and starts life in, can't look the same as your second or your third or your fifth, or in our case, the seventh. And so you just have to solve and work on solving each Rubik's Cube as it's presented to you to the best that you can. And as always, please check out our website, yourkidswillbefine.com. All the episodes can be downloaded. We also love to hear ideas and suggestions for further topics on the show. And looking forward to next week's topic. And let's keep working on this together. And it really is good to know that none of us are doing it right, and that's okay. We're all getting it wrong every day, and as long as we keep showing up and try to be the best version of ourselves, it'll all turn out okay, and your kids will be fine.